But what about us humans? I mean, why are we here? We are told in the Quran, it says in chapter 51, "And I have not created the jinn and humankind except that they should worship me." So it says that we are here to worship him. Now, as I just mentioned, but what is this worship in Islam? Well, Islam has 5 pillars upon which it is based. And these are testifying to one God, offering prayer, offering charity, fasting the month of Ramadan, and pilgrimage. Worship in Islam involves giving money to the poor. It involves, as I mentioned, one of the main pillars of Islam is giving charity. It involves being dutiful to your parents. It involves gaining knowledge to help better mankind. Me studying here at university, if my intentions are good, is a form of worship. So, worshipping in Islam is benefiting the world. And this is how we grow. But most importantly, this all stems from one precept: the belief and submission of one to God. Literally, I mean, the word Islam in Arabic is translated as the submission to God. It is believing in the message sent by God through the prophets and the sincere worship of God. So through Islam in Arabic, or submission to God in English, however you want to look at it, you fulfill your purpose. Because you submit to God, you perform worship by the actions I have mentioned, and through these actions, you grow closer to God.
Jesus taught that the purpose of your life and my life is to love and worship God, and to love and serve each other. To use the wonderful gifts that God has endowed each and every one of us here with, to serve people, to make this place more like heaven will be. Studying anthropology, every culture around the world has some form of religion. Man is insatiably religious. We have what Blaise Pascal calls a God-shaped vacuum at the center of our being. Augustine put it magnificently when he said, "The heart is restless until it finds its rest in me." Friends, the purpose of your life and my life is to love and worship God, and to love and serve each other. And the Bible says it is appointed to a man to die once, and after death comes the judgment. When you die, you either go one of 2 places: forever in the presence of God, or forever separate from Him.
Belief in an afterlife serves to highlight the value of this life on earth. Is there an afterlife? So, if there is an afterlife, then this becomes merely a doormat to the next world, serving only as a place to wipe your feet before entering the eternity of the afterlife. By contrast, the skeptical view says that this life is all that has been proven to exist, which makes it more valuable and encourages us to make the most of it. So this brings us to the final question. How do we make the most of it? And why are we here? Firstly, who is we? Is it just us in this room? The human species? All living things on Earth? Can extraterrestrial species have meaning? Is meaning universal and overarching, or is it personal and relative to each being? If you ask 10 people what gives their lives meaning, I imagine you may get 10 different responses. Would you really accuse 9 of these people of being wrong? Of course not. Meaning is relative to the individual, and furthermore, relative to an individual's life. What gives you meaning, will be quite different from what gives me meaning. What's more, what gave you meaning 5 years ago was probably quite different to now, as it will be again in 10 years' time. To dictate that everyone's life must have the same meaning is not only absurd, it's arrogant. The lack of universal meaning superimposed on our lives is empowering. In the words of Camus, people can instead strive to be heroic nihilists. Living with dignity in the face of absurdity, living with secular saintliness, fraternal solidarity, and rebelling against and transcending the world's indifference. The advance of science has shown that the universe was not designed for us. In fact, it does not care about us. Rather, we are one minutely small component in an immensely vast universe, and our lives are extraordinarily brief. It is poignant that our significance arrives through our ability to comprehend our insignificance, for it allows us the opportunity to create our own meaning and make our lives work.